Welcome to Box Center, the show. You already know what it is, man. Y'all gonna get all new segments, all original content, and no cap. Yeah, my peoples. So, in case you didn't know, Box Center, the show, is gonna be live from Mondays through Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it, my people. It's gonna be all new segments, all original, just something you never seen before. Um, we're gonna kick today's episode with original content. It's something that people seen before already and they enjoyed it. They told me, "Yo, Jay, I like that segment." So this is how we're going to debut Box Center, the show. Goofiest of the Oofiest. Yep, that's going to be the first segment. Now, what is Goofiest of the Oofiest? Simple. It's a person or a group of people that did something that could be considered funny. You did something funny, you goofy. So, who is this episode's goofiest of the oofiest? The winners are boxing fans. Yep, you heard it. Boxing fans. And I'm going to tell you why. Boxing fans tend to discredit boxers. We love the sport of boxing, you know, but for whatever reason, we discredit fighters. You know, the fighters that we want to see, the fighters that make the sport interesting, the fighters that make the fights happen, we discredit them just to follow an agenda. So for that reason, we the fans are the goofiest of the oofiest. I have to say it, you know, and we see this all the time. Let me give you an example. Terrence Crawford. You know, he's a great fighter. He's accomplished so much. He's one of the greatest of this era. And there's people that will never speak about his accomplishments. They'll only say stuff like, "Oh, who he beat? He beat a washed up this, and this guy he beat wasn't that good, and he did it." So instead of giving the man his flowers for showing his greatness, there's a whole fan base that will just discredit him and discredit his opponents just to discredit him. And imagine that, you know, we love the sport of boxing. We enjoy it. We want the fights to happen. And then when they happen, we discredit the guy who takes the loss. So, for that reason, we are the goofiest of the oofiest. We the fans. My peoples, don't forget to hit that like button. I would appreciate it. It's free. Um, this is the first episode of Box Center, the show. We have three segments. This first segment is Goofiest of the Oofiest. And basically, what it's about, people or groups of people who did or do funny stuff. Discrediting fighters is funny stuff. You have to understand, if you get to a certain level, you worked hard, you beat opponents, you did what you were supposed to do, and then fans, they won't even appreciate that if you lose. You lost, so that's it. You're a hype job, you know, you're a bum, you're all of these things. But at the end of the day, you have to consider the fact that boxing is interesting because all of these people fight, because they all climb the ring. So you can't discredit somebody simply because they took a loss. That is super goofy. You are the goofiest of the oofiest. If your go-to in every debate is to discredit fighters, you are goofy. That's goofy. We have to appreciate fighters. Let's, appreciate the fighters that we like. Support the fighters that you like. If you like this fighter, support him. But what do you get from attacking the fighters that you don't support? From attacking the fighters that you don't like? What do you get from that? So we have to consider the fact that boxing is a tough sport. It's not easy to step in a ring and trade punches with somebody, and then you take a loss and fans discredit you. That's crazy. No wonder fighters want to protect that. Oh, as soon as they lose, you going to discredit them. Oh, he a bum. He a hype job. He got exposed. Oh my goodness. Every single time a fighter loses nowadays, he got exposed and he's a hype job. Like, that's goofy. That's super goofy. Because the funny thing is that you say, hey, listen, this guy's a hype job. He got exposed. And then after that, he wins a champion. Now he's great again. Look at Rayo Valenzuela, for example. When he got stopped by Colbert, oh, he's a hype job. He's a bum. He got exposed. Oh, now he beat Pitbull. Now he's great again. Oh, he's great. Now he's great again. He wasn't before though because he took a loss, right? So we as boxing fans have to stop judging an entire fighter's career over a loss. If you look back in time, if you look at historical data, most of the greatest fighters ever lost fights. That don't mean that you discredit their entire resume. So there you have it, my peoples. That's the first segment. Goofiest of the Oofiest. The winners are the fans. If you discredit fighters, you're goofy. There you have it, my people. Hold on. We about to move on to the next one. So check it, my peoples. Segment number 2. What the people want to see. Basically, what the people want to see is what you hear right there. What are the fights that boxing fans want to see, but for whatever reason, we haven't gotten them? It happens, right? Right now, I think the two biggest fights and most important fights. Let me get the mic on. Yo. Also won, and I was on without a microphone. Did the whole goofiest of the oofiest without a microphone. It's all good though. Um, so what the people want to see is basically about the fight that we want to see, and Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis, just like Terrence Buck Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Those are fights that we want to see. Those are fights that we gotta have. And at this point, a lot of people are making predictions about those fights, about what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen when Tank fights Shakur? What's gonna happen if Canelo fight Bud? Well, the favorites apparently to win those two fights are Tank Davis and Canelo Alvarez. However, I think we're gonna see two upsets, and I've already predicted those two fights, the outcome. Um, but again, those are fights we want to see, but we haven't gotten them, and we don't know when and if we'll get them. Right now, we know that Shakur Stevenson is with Matchroom with Eddie Hearn, Tank Davis with Al Heyman, PBC, and right there's a bit of a barrier. Other side of the street stuff going on, so you just don't know what's gonna happen with that fight. Then we have But and Canelo, Canelo's at 168, but is willing to move up to fight him. But for whatever reason, Canelo hasn't said, I'm taking this fight. It's possible that he will. Again, these are two fights that we have to see. Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Bud Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis. Both of those fights. And the crazy thing about it is that I'm going for the upset. In both cases, I'm going for the upset. I'm telling ya, Shakur's gonna win, and I'm telling ya, Bud is gonna win. So I'm going against the grain, my peoples. That's the way that I see it, and we'll be talking about that. I just want to remind y'all that back when, well, I'll tell you that later. I'll put you guys onto that later on in the next segment. But again, man, these are the two most important fights in boxing right now that the people, are talking about. The streets is talking. The streets is talking, and the people want to see Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson get in the ring together. The people want to see Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez share the ring. We got to get those fights. Now, His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh has expressed interest in making those fights, and for that reason, I believe they can happen. I believe those fights can happen. Check this out, my peoples. Canelo Alvarez has seemed to reject the possibility of fighting Terrence Bud Crawford, but after that, he reached out to His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh and said, "Hey, after I fight Berlanga, we can visit, talks." So, we may actually get Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. We may actually get that fight. And I already told you, Terrence Bud Crawford, I want to point this out in this first episode. The difference in size between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford is not as big as people want to believe. The focus is 168. But guess what? Canelo's not a big guy. Canelo's not a big 168 pounder. He's actually small in that division. Not only that, Terrence Crawford is actually going to have physical advantages over Canelo. Height and reach. He's going to have both of those advantages over Canelo. And what did Dimitri Bivol use to defeat Canelo Alvarez? His height and reach advantages. So you have to understand, if you talk about bigger, Canelo is wider, has a wider frame, but now you're talking about power. And I'm talking about boxing skills. Terrence Crawford, just like Dimitri Bivol, has the boxing skills to outbox Canelo. That's what I'm telling you. Now, we have to see it play out. We have to see it happen. So there you have it, my peoples. That's what I got for you. What the people want to see. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. The people got to see it. The people want to see it. Let's get it, man. We need to get that. His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh, please make that happen. Appreciate that. So, y'all already know what it is, my peoples. We're moving on to the next segment. The next segment is called Take That to the Bank to Get Some Pounds with JStradamus. Yep. Now, what is this segment about? Take that to the bank to go get some pounds? Well, JStradamus, yours truly, is going to give you some predictions, and those predictions are solid. You can cash that. So because I'm giving you these solid predictions, you can take that to the bank. Jesus Christ, what's going on out here? I'm giving you these solid predictions, man.
You can take that to the bank to get some pounds because they legit. So let's get started. We take that to the bank to get some pounds. I was already talking about this in the previous segment and what the people want to see. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis, right? We already know that the people want to see that fight. Well, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. The people are dying to see Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. But here's what they don't understand. Shakur Stevenson is going to outbox Tank Davis. You can take that to the bank to get some pounds. What's good, my guy? I feel you with the Bud resume. It's iffy. We'll talk about that. Matter of fact, I was talking about fans like you in the first segment. The first segment, I'm going to upload this live. Check out the first segment. You want to see what I said. But, again, when it comes to Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, JStradamus is letting you know Shakur Stevenson is going to outbox him and win a decision. That knockout, yo, what's up? That knockout that everybody's expecting from Tank Davis is not going to come. It's not going to happen. Just like Pitbull Cruz didn't get knocked out, Shakur Stevenson, who has the better defense, who's the most unhittable fighter in boxing right now, who's damn near untouchable, who never been wobbled, who never been hurt, he not gonna get knocked out. You can take that to the bank to get some pounds. ASAP. Now, when it comes to Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, we spoke about them in the previous segment, what the people want to see. The people want to see that fight. But I tell you what, once again, the people's is expecting that Canelo is going to wash him. People really think that Canelo is going to wash Crawford. Well, guess what? It's not going to go down like that. Terrence Bud Crawford is going to outbox Canelo Alvarez and win by unanimous decision. You can take that to the bank to get some pounds. You see, so when you hear these things, you say, nah, man, Jay Smith is crazy. What is Jay talking about? But I'm trying to tell you, I base my opinion on historical data, on styles of boxing, and on the fighters themselves. Look at the people who gave Canelo Alvarez a loss. Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol. Neither of those guys were known to be power punchers or had a high knockout percentage. Both of them outboxed Canelo. And they beat him in such fashion that they made it look easy. So you have to consider the fact that power was not a factor when, as it relates to beating Canelo. It was boxing skills. Terrence Bud Crawford possesses these boxing skills. And, y'all don't want to take my word for it. And I'm trying to tell you, you could just take it to the bank right now and cash it. Because that's how it's going to play out. So there you have it. You can take Shakur Stevenson beating Tank Davis to the bank to go get some pounds. You can take Terrence Crawford outboxing and beating Canelo to the bank to go get some pounds. And then let them know when you get there, JStradamus sent you. My peoples, I want to say thank you for dropping in, checking me out. This was the first episode the first episode of Box Center, the show. Y'all already know what it is. Mondays through Fridays, we gonna be on 9 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it. It's gonna be more segments coming up, more episodes. Just give you that straight fire, that original content. Appreciate you dropping in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, because you want to keep getting this fire from your boy Jay Smith. You already know what it is, man. Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Peace.